Happy Tuesday, boys and girls. Jeffery at Jeffery TV, live on Memorex. Default location, default route. First of all, let me start off by saying I have always been a Mason Rudolph fan, or at least supporter. I feel he was mistreated when he was in Pittsburgh. He was never given a fair chance. And for some reason, in the bottom of my stomach, I always had a sympathy for him. I really thought that he seemed to be a dedicated player, always said the right things, but never really got a square chance to be a real big-time NFL quarterback in Pittsburgh because of Ben Roethlisberger and just the things that happen going forward. Now, in saying that, his demeanor and the way in which he delivers press conferences and talks to the reporters infuriates me. It's like he has zero bravado. He's not even making eye contact, eyes to the ground. Just it's soft-spoken is not even the word. It's just there's like no mojo, no bravado, no, kiss my ass or anything, none of that. And granted, I believe he's like a devout Christian, follows the rules and teachings of Jesus Christ to the T. And that's probably why, he probably likes it in Pittsburgh, because they love their Jesus in Pittsburgh. But I think, of course, to me, Tom Brady's the best. Tom Brady's the best, and he's got bravado. I mean, Tom Brady come out and let you know. I think part of the success of anybody or anything is packing bravado. Is a lot of it is based in confidence and just knowing or feeling that you're better. And I don't see that in Mason Rudolph during his interviews or anytime I've ever heard him speak. I've heard that in the huddle, he has a command in the huddle, and it comes off okay. I just heard it was okay. I don't know, exactly how to put it, but I just heard in the huddle, he has command of his troops. But I mean, you got to have some kick ass, and he don't seem to have too much kick ass when the camera's on. Also, I want to go ahead and say that I do have a thing. I've always had a thing for white quarterbacks. Tall, statuesque, pocket passing quarterbacks. The way I like to put it is a leopard and an elephant are going to solve problems differently. Black quarterbacks are just so athletic that it's easy for them to rely on their athleticism to get it done. And in my mind, a quarterback needs to be a point guard and distribute. He needs to play his position well, but to get everybody else involved. And for me, throwing down the middle of the field, passing is just so important. It's just so important. And the accuracy that I used to see in black quarterbacks back in the day just wasn't there. Cordell Stewart was one. Cordell Stewart run, nobody could touch him. But I probably can only remember 2 or 3 passes that he thrown, if I can remember any. Randall Cunningham was probably the first one. He just ran entirely too much, dangerously so. Now, Joe Gilliam and Doug Williams, tall, statuesque, black quarterbacks. I was definitely more in line with them in that style of play. Dan Marino didn't run enough. Hell of an arm, pocket quarterback, didn't run enough. Steve Young was probably my ultimate quarterback. Steve Young probably had the right balance of running and throwing of any quarterback of that era that I had seen. He was my stereotypical model of what I think the perfect quarterback, or quote unquote perfect quarterback, should be. Steve Young. Joe Montana didn't run enough. Nowadays quarterbacks, you got Patrick Mahomes, who I believe is probably one of the best. Patrick Mahomes definitely is one of the best, and I don't hate on him. He can win as many Super Bowls as he wants. For whatever reason, that doesn't seem to bother me. And I think that has to do a lot with the respect I have for Andy Reid and that beautiful Kansas City modernized offense. The offense is just beautiful to watch. Just the running game, the misdirection, the concept, the schematics. It's just a beautiful thing to watch. And one thing that I really truly believe is that the Steelers need to upgrade their offense to something more modern. That 3 yards in the cloud of dust stuff just doesn't work anymore. You got to be able to throw the ball. You got to be able to outsmart your opponent. You just can't run them over anymore. It's not like the 70s when we drafted Mean Joe Green and had one of the first, big giant human beings. He was just bigger and badder and better than everybody. Parity in the league now is just everybody now has their own Mean Joe Green. Mean Joe Greens are throughout the league. So you're just not gonna beat up or run over anybody anymore. You gotta outsmart them. And I think the Steelers need to modernize their offense eventually, or start to do so, to get out of that. We're gonna run the ball, we're gonna run the ball, we're gonna run the ball. Sure, you can run the ball, but if you ain't gonna pass the ball and you ain't got no threat of throwing downfield, people gonna stack the line of scrimmage, 8 men in the box, as they say, and you ain't running nowhere. Josh Allen, I was just thinking today, even when I was thinking about doing this, Josh Allen is very close to being about the ultimate model. Josh Allen is very close to about being the ultimate model. Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels, I'm not sure, but they seem small to me. They don't seem tall enough. I mean, this is just my subjective, stereotypical idea of what I'm looking for, what I believe I'm looking for in a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers, who I may add, all roads seem to lead to him being a Pittsburgh Steeler this year. And being the starting quarterback with Mason Rudolph behind him, which I can live with. Which I can live with. Aaron Rodgers has been there, done that. He's definitely got bravado, ego. He's gonna speak up. MVP, Super Bowl champion. He'll come into Pittsburgh and tell them what's up, I believe. I believe he'll come into Pittsburgh and tell them what's up and say, look, this works, this ain't gonna work. I believe he'll put some pressure or give some input, at least, to the offensive coordinator, to the offense, to bring it into a more modern era. I'm sure in the meeting that Aaron Rodgers had with the Steelers, this may or may not have been discussed. Play calling and the style of play. Offense, if we have George Pickens and we have DK Metcalf, the offense has got to open up. I mean, you've got to open it up. Of course, we can run the ball, and we got to work on our offensive line, of course. But I'm just talking about the general idea of the direction of the offense has to become more modernized. That's why I was looking forward to Justin Fields starting next year. And, we give him the ball early. Say, look, Justin, we're going to build the offense around you. And then the Steelers start to build their offense around a new modern style. Because the era of the running quarterback is here. The mobility it's just the new modern offense. You got to have some kind of mobility and a threat for your quarterback to run. There has to be at least a threat for your quarterback to run. And with the Steelers for the last, maybe even Ben, probably last 10, 15, maybe how many years? Ben wasn't going to run. You know, we didn't have that threat. That just wasn't a possibility. The RPO, run pass, and then play action off of that, anything. You know, something to scheme, just to even deceive or make people stop and think. You know, hey, what are they gonna do next? What is this gonna happen? How's that gonna work? People will come to the line of scrimmage nowadays, they know what Pittsburgh gonna run. You know? It's like, hey, they be calling out our plays. What the hell is that about? So, what's going on down here? Something going on down here. Look like they cleaning something up. Oh, I see the polices. Yeah, they probably cleaning up. Yep, they probably cleaning up that that area down here. There was a bunch of encampments going down the side there. Yeah, I guess they're gonna start cleaning that up. I don't know. They're gonna start right there. Get all that out of there, I guess.
How's it going? What are you, potting something or?
I'm potting. Potting, that's still be the word. Yeah, podcasting, yeah. Yeah, potting. Well, we even got a welcome sign. Even got a welcome sign on his interest. I guess they're gonna clean all this up. They're gonna get all this out of here. They got polices and everything up here. Cause there's like a lot of, well, I got doors and beds and, wow. You got a mattress frame? Wow. Yeah, people live back there. They gotta get out of there now. There's a lot of folks down there. I wonder if they just cleaning up the empty ones. Or they taking everybody. I don't know. But let's get back to it. So Pittsburgh needs to have I think if we get the ball to Justin Fields, and if he ain't the one, we can start using him as a stand-in to the style of offense that we should be going towards. Because he can run, he's mobile. He got I don't know how good his arm is. His arm has been questioned. But you can start thinking in that direction. And that's the question, is Arthur Smith capable or willing, or is Arthur Smith that style of offensive coordinator to put in something like that? Because I see some of those offenses out there, they're just so beautiful. You sit there and watch them, you don't know what the hell's gonna happen when Mahomes comes to the line of scrimmage. You have no idea. Pittsburgh come out, I'll be calling the plays. I'll be calling the plays. I'm like, all right, Najee, give me 3. Sure enough, to turn around and hand off to Najee. All right, here we go. You know, or they line up in the empty backfield, you know they're gonna throw this way, or it's gonna be Pickens down the sideline. It's just so predictable. Or a pitch out, or a toss, and we watching Najee run up the back of a guard. So Najee isn't there anymore. They didn't renew his contract. He went to San Diego. I wish him well. The big question that I have, or had, which seems to have been too much noise about it, is Pickens gonna stay after we got DK Metcalf? To have Pickens and DK Metcalf and Aaron Rodgers, I think that could be good. And there was talk, and I think it's been confirmed that Aaron Rodgers was throwing balls to DK Metcalf out in LA. You know, even just having the meeting, just having for them to get together he just do anything, you know, could mean something. Or it could be a ploy for Rodgers to get picked up by another team. You know, to give him some leverage or whatever. But all roads seem that the way they said the body language of the Steelers and this and that is that Rodgers is going to be a Steeler starting quarterback. And I'd be excited about that. I'd be really excited about that. And he'd just be a bridge quarterback. He's 41, 42 years old. Until next year, where we have a lot of compensatory or compensator, whatever the word is, compensatory draft picks in 2026. 2026 draft class for quarterbacks is supposed to be a lot better. The idea is to eventually get our franchise quarterback and to go from there and to build around them. And even though Pittsburgh has been known not to tank, the problem always was we win so many games, we would never get a low enough draft pick. We win so many games that our draft picks would always be mediocre. You know, it was stated that, well, Pittsburgh may need a 3-13 season, 3-14 season to draft high and a good draft and get one of those, you know, prime candidates at quarterback or trade up to do it. And in 2026, we'll have a lot of picks because of our free agency. You let somebody go on free agency and they sign a certain contract, you get a compensatory pick. And we got a bunch of those in 2026 coming up. So our draft capital is going to be big. Our salary cap is going to be big. So, you know, we're sitting like the Steelers would, you know, comfortable. You know, conservative, not quite conservative, but, you know, we got our assets and, you know, we're not going to go out and spend a lot of money. In fact, the money they gave DK Metcalf was 5-year, $150 million. It's almost like unprecedented. You know, Steelers, that's not the kind of football they play. Usually, half the team was draft picks. And it seems like we got to start getting out of that. And Omar Khan, our new general manager, well, not new anymore, 2, 3, 4 years, is starting to, you know, take us into hopefully a new modern era. And I'm still critical of Tomlin. But it's possible he can change. One thing, it was mentioned that he could be the CEO, but you got to delegate offense and other things to other people. You got to get somebody who's going to run the offense. Let him run the offense. And don't handcuff it or take it over to where the offense is only there not to lose the game, where the offense should be there to try to win the game for you. Where you say, all right, the only thing you do is don't turn the ball over and don't make mistakes. No, we need an offense that's going to be aggressive, that can go out there and go ahead and finish and get it done and hold the ball more than 3 and out for most of the game to give the defense a rest. Years ago, I noticed offense come out at 3 and out, defense back on the field. Eventually, they're going to give in. Eventually, they're going to get worn out and tired. Now, I see TJ Watt come off the sideline and just be exhausted. I've seen TJ Watt just come off, just be completely exhausted. I mean, huffing and, not exhausted, but huffing and puffing, trying to catch his breath. And I'm like, oh well, you better hurry up and sit down. Offense gonna get the ball, you're gonna be back out there in 2.5 minutes. And Pittsburgh has always been a defensive team, always been a grind them out, smash mouth defensive team built on running people over, hitting them in the head, just being mean like Joe Green, all of that stuff. Can't do that no more. Parity. Every other team is just as big as you are, just as bully as you are, just as thug prone as you may or may not have been. So, and back to the quarterback thing, the black quarterback thing. Warren Moon was another one who kind of fit into the style of play, but I had a problem with his body build, and that's just on me. It's subjective, it's probably petty, you know. And also Donovan McNabb, another one. Good passer, good runner, good orchestrator, handled the field, general just, you know, command. Both of those men, they just didn't have the body structure. Now, I'm definitely not talking about somebody like Dante Culpepper, who was just fat. Black quarterback, he was just fat and had a hell of an arm. But, you know, I'm just used to that statuesque quarterback, you know, with the long lines, the legs, the side pass, the towel hanging. Just that look, you know, that look. Terry Bradshaw didn't have it, but he got it done. Terry Bradshaw's style of football got it done. So I really never thought about Terry Bradshaw. I never thought about critiquing him like that, because he was just, you know, I never put him in the category to think about like that. Where do I rank Terry Bradshaw in my quarterback list? I don't think I ever thought about it. Wow. I can tell you where I rank Ben, though. I can tell you where I rank Ben. Ben is definitely up there. Ben played 18 years. He did the damn thing. It took me a long time to see that his style was consistent. He may or may not have been, I don't want to say cerebral enough, but sophisticated. He may not have been sophisticated. He's probably definitely cerebral, but he just probably wasn't sophisticated to go to the next level, to have an understanding of schemes and, you know, complex ways of doing things. He was good at, I believe, he was good at coming to the line of scrimmage, seeing what needed to happen instantly and calling the play right there. Basically they were saying he's drawing plays in the dirt during the game. I believe he has that kind of brain, that kind of cerebral power. But to be able to, like, to me, like a Tom Brady or somebody who got the game thought out 2 weeks ahead of time, understanding defenses, playing schemes, that whole, and I've definitely been a big fan of the whole Patriots way, the Bill Belichick, Tom Brady, just do your job, the way they handle things. I was definitely a fan of that. In fact, I went to the Steeler Patriot game in Pittsburgh. I sat behind the Patriot bench because I wanted to see Tom Brady and Belichick in it. I sat behind the Patriot bench. You know, of course, I'm saying we still gonna kick your ass today, but I want to see you, Mr. Brady. I came to see you, Mr. Belichick. And like I said, the Andy Reid offense, just beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous to watch. Nothing like the Steelers. Nothing. You come out there, I'm sitting in the stands calling the play. And I'm sure if I can, the other team can too. So, and I also have said before, and think it may be just the whole city of Pittsburgh, the whole mentality may not be ready to go to anything so sophisticated. They may be, you know, might even consider, oh, that's sissified football. That's sophisticated, pinky out kind of football. We just want to smash them. We just want to smash them in their face. Like I said, there's too many other people out there with big boys. Boys bigger than you. Can't do that anymore. So we'll see what happens this season. If Pittsburgh is ready, I believe, to make a transition to become a modern team, even on defense, even modern defenses. Offenses just be eating us up, and they have for years. They have for years. There's been times where I've said, only thing a team got to do to beat us is throw the ball. I think Rich Gannon one time for Minnesota threw the ball 57 times. Just throw the ball. We can't stop it. I don't know if it's our defense ain't sophisticated enough. People ain't running the zone right. The wrong calls. Man-to-man breakdown. I don't know. But it's like, here we go. 3rd and 18. 3rd and 18, I'm scared. 3rd and 18, I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Play some defense. Sure enough. And I ain't even talking about a penalty. I'm not even talking about a penalty and then picking it up. I'm talking about actual third, picking up 3rd and 21 on a pass play. Where Pittsburgh was in that, they wouldn't even attempt to do it. They probably run a screen. They wouldn't even, they don't even, I don't even think they have a play for anything like that. And Russell Wilson's quarterback last year, I don't think he could see down the middle of the field. I think he was too short. That's why I like tall quarterbacks. Russell Wilson was mobile a little bit, but the word goody two-shoes come to mind. He's always saying the right thing and, coming to the press conferences with his helmet on and his uniform like he's performing. He's trying to be some kind of corny cat. I think my buddy called him, he said he was corny. Did he get it done? Not really. Can't say no, can't say yes. But the answer is more likely not really. I don't think it was his fault. I think it was a breakdown of the whole scheme. I think the whole scheme just wasn't up to par to handle what the NFL defense is going to bring at you, especially come playoff time, especially come down the stretch after they didn't see you for 13, 14 weeks. It's like they know. Nah, I don't see that happening to Kansas City. And even Philadelphia's offense was beautiful in a different way. Probably in a less finesse way. Of course, they had Saquon Barkley, my God. But they had misdirections and counters, maybe traps, I don't know, just stuff that just looked like it was thought out. And I'm ready for the Pittsburgh Steelers to do that. Another off season I'm going through with my podcast. Let me see, I'm gonna try to name them. Still Kurt Network for some reason. That one, I don't know why I always watch Jeff, Brian, and Dave. I don't know why. They talk, I don't know. Am I going to Steelers Now with Alan Saunders? I think Jeremy, what's his name? Alan Steelers Now. For some reason I like Paul Zeiss with his old, with his old style. Kind of bitching or just, the way he delivers his thing. And of course, your boy at, what's his name? Oh my God, I forgot his name. How can I forget his name? He was like one of the first ones I watched. At the North Shore Drive. At the North Shore Drive. He didn't even look. He didn't even see me at all, his Mercedes-Benz. North Shore Drive, what's his name? Light-skinned dude. We're watching him all the time too. And of course, Alex Kozora, Steelers Depot. There's a lot of them out there. There's a bunch of them that I can remember the names of that I watch. There's one dude I've been watching lately. His is kind of refined, but he seems to be on it. It's kind of refined and more, not mainstream looking, but more sophisticated, less homemade, and but it seems like he's going to be like on top of the news for you. That's what you really want. You want people who are going to be sitting there waiting for the news to come and then to give it to you. So that's why I would say it really don't matter in a way who does it, as long as they're good at getting the news, being aware of it, having their sources. And one thing about Steelers now, with Alex Saunders, is he's a beat writer, so he travels with the team. He's at the owners meeting. He's in there talking to Tomlin and them, so he's actually in the meetings, and he's sanctioned. Why can't I think of that dude's name? Why can't I think of that dude's name? And he talked real fast. He talked like real fast. There's a bunch of them. Joe Kuzma, Steel City Underground, I think it's called. I think he's from Boardman, Ohio. There's just a bunch of them out there. Sit down, get my salad and my food, put on my podcast, go through them, sometimes I go through them. Like last night, because they had the owners meeting, there was some, different, and Omar Khan and Mike Tomlin actually talked to the press and stuff. So there was actually a little bit of news. It was actually something to sit and listen to. Usually, you're just sitting around watching these podcasters make up stuff. Not make up stuff, but trying to generate news for the most part. And it's okay. So that's where we're at now with my Pittsburgh Steelers. And the reason about all this podcast stuff, because the off season now is kind of exciting. The off season, I wouldn't quite say exciting, but there's something to do. They make it they make it so at least you want to pay attention. Because a lot of these moves and decisions will have reverberations and have a definite impact on the season, which is like, 4 or 5 months away. September 9, and it's 3.5, 6 months away or so. And so you gotta have something to do during that time, and it definitely makes things go by. Of course, they'll have the NBA playoffs, NBA championship, and then for a minute there won't be nothing other than baseball, which don't count. And then you go through summer and come preseason, then the Funketeers ball. No, then the first game of the season, the Funketeers ball, and start the season again. Every Sunday, baby. Every Sunday. I gotta go through and see if I'm gonna get my Sunday ticket. See if I get my Sunday ticket at a student discount again. Got it last year. Let's see if they're gonna kick it in for me again this year. We'll see. Got it for $200. That's half the price, less than half the price of regular price. But if I gotta pay for it, I'm gonna have to pay for it. I don't think I can mess with IPTV. It's too janky. It's too janky, and I need to have that for sure. And I'll pay for it. I'll pay for that for sure. So I'll get up, I cut it on, it better work. Even though the NFL app is bullshit. It seems like it takes up too much resources, it don't work right. Even though the NFL app, I got NFL Plus, I got all this, and these apps, where I should be able to watch a replay, watch the All 22. The All 22 is all the coaches' angles. I get like different angles of every play. Mid zone view, sideline view. And it's so janky, it's hard to watch. At least on the Fire Stick. And so what I end up doing, which works out very good, is you just watch NFL Sunday Ticket on YouTube. I watch the games straight on YouTube, and it's no problem. In fact, I can even put 4 games up sometimes I get 4 different games up on the screen at once. But as you probably can guess, I only watch pretty much 1 game a week. It's that Steeler game. And usually after that game is over, I'm exhausted. Usually after that game is over, I am exhausted. And I'll take a nap or something. Because well, damn, okay, they made it. Because if they lose, I'm definitely like bleh. And usually even when they win, it's exhausting. Because the offense is always just playing not to lose, so we don't never blow nobody out. We get a 7-point lead, they go into a prevent offense. And the defense is out on the field every 3 minutes. They take their foot off the gas when they get like a little bit of a lead. So we always let people back in the game. We could be up 21 points going in the second half, and I'm still scared. No matter how good the defense is, they get tired. And the defense, though it may be good and ranked high, a lot of people talk highly of the Steelers defense, it may not be as good as what people think. In fact, I know it ain't. I sit and watch it every week. I've seen us get gashed in important times. Sure, the stats may look good, the overall stats may look good, but at critical times, when they need to, a lot of times they do. I take that back. A lot of times you usually get turnovers. A lot of times defense has stepped up, don't get me wrong. But there's too many critical times where like one play can make a big difference. They didn't hold their own, or they didn't stop the offense, and it was critical in the game. Momentum shift and all kinds of stuff. So. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the Steelers season. Looks like they talk about Aaron Rodgers is going to be in Pittsburgh on the Pat McAfee show on April 9th or something like that. Looks like he's going to make a big announcement like that, or some fanfare or whatever. Hopefully it's coordinated with the Steeler team and they understand, what's going on, and promote something, and, have something to get people fired up about. And the 2026 draft, where Pittsburgh's going to have a lot of compensatory picks. It's going to be in Pittsburgh. And that's when they say we should wait, get a quarterback in 2026 draft. Quarterback draft class should be much better in 2026. We'll have much more picks in 2026. That's next year. The 2025 draft is in about a month. Say, get a defensive tackle, fill in some other holes, and get ready for training camp, I guess. Whenever that is, I didn't even check. But that's it with my Steelers, baby. Love that football team. It'll be 53 years since 1972. 72 season. Ended with the immaculate reception. Well, it ended with the undefeated Miami Dolphins beating Pittsburgh. After the immaculate reception, I was sitting there watching it in Youngstown, Ohio when it happened. The only time I screamed or raised my voice in the house with my father there. He got up. It looked like it was over. He got up to go make a sandwich in the kitchen. Next thing you know, he hear me screaming and hollering. He come running back in. We sat there and, we had to wait for the refs to call it and make this determination, that determination. And sure enough, touchdown. I remember, I don't know if he said it or not, but he used to always say, well, it's all over but the shouting. And he'd get up, and I remember him getting up and going. That's the story I'm telling, going to the kitchen, probably make a chip chop ham sandwich from Lawson's. white bread, Miracle Whip on a Sunday. No, it must have been a Saturday, but probably wasn't a Sunday, because Sunday he stayed in bed. It must have been a Saturday, I bet. Sunday he stayed in bed, he would bang on the floor. That means bring him the paper and some orange juice. That football team. I love that football team. Anyhow, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the phone, and for them Pittsburgh Steelers. There shall be no other. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in any atom, in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be, the totality of it all, theory of universe, hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery.